Are you proud to offer a good product at a fair price that fulfills what it promises? Does your brand enjoy a transactional relationship with your customers? Yes? That's wonderful. Congratulations on your success. The good news is you are seriously limiting your brand's growth trajectory. Find out how you can go from rational buying decisions to the irrational power of brand love by making one fundamental shift. And you're going to love this. You have so much experience doing this because you buy something from an irrational brand love on the daily. You know the exact feeling you are about to learn how to put into the hearts of your customers. How irrationality bonds the user with your brand. Hey everyone, it's Canon Wing from Inspiration to Millions. Tell me this, do you as an entrepreneur pride yourself in providing your customers a good, useful product at a fair price? Yes, right? People very rationally choose your brand, buy your product and are happy with it because it does the job. If you answered yes, you are seriously limiting the potential of your brand because what you have is a very fair, rational relationship with your customers. They buy your product, but they don't feel any brand loyalty. It's purely transactional. And if you're wondering why that's not good, let me tell you why. Brand loyalty is emotional. Brand loyalty is irrational. Brand loyalty has no purely transactional reason behind it at all. Loved brands can charge 4 times the price of any comparable product and still sell more. Sounds irrational, right? Well, if their customers enjoy the feeling of brand loyalty, then there is all the rationale that they'll ever need. So what accounts for this irrational devotion to some brands over others? Is it possible for you to inspire this kind of irrational devotion to your brand? In a word, yes. Let's dive right in and find out how. Your ideal audience can and will fall in love with your brand. They can and will develop this beautiful, irrational, emotional, and quirky relationship with your brand when you shift the focus of your brand from transactional to emotional. Today we'll talk about irrationality. We'll talk about being emotional rather than rational and how this irrationality is what helps create the kind of brand loyalty that marketers and branders dream about. I will share with you my experiences and insights into this process using actual case studies to illustrate my point. You'll learn how to help your brand come out of nowhere and appeal emotionally to your ideal individuals. To create irrational relationships with your ideal individual, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. As Helen Keller is thought to have said, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. While she wasn't talking about branding, she was talking about human nature. The heart is a strange thing, and it's not ruled by logic. Consider the deep love you have for your children. There is no articulated, logical line of reasoning for that love. It just is. The feeling is strong, even overwhelming, but not exactly rational. Your love is not based on your children having any particular qualities or gifts or skills because they're really cute, because they have great hair. You love your kids just as much. You love them for all that is quite irrational and emotional. And it's all beautifully, precisely because of that irrationality and emotionality. It just is. And there's so much comfort in knowingness and really personal identity in a love you never want to end. Sounds a lot like brand loyalty, right? The love for brands is similar to this phenomenon. Your kids are cute or smart or more entertaining and quite simply riveting to you, more than to anyone else. Similarly, some brands are just captivating and wonderful and amazing for their loyalists. And this isn't because the product is necessarily the highest quality or the most durable, and it certainly isn't because it's the cheapest. It's just that they developed a special personal connection to that brand. Every connect with someone and all of your friends are kind of surprised by it. You can't explain why your connection is the way it is. We've all had things we adored in life that not everyone knows or gets why. And it doesn't matter to us. We're all in. We never want it to end. Emotional branding is all about connecting, while rational branding is simply about selling. Where rational branding tells you about a product, emotional branding creates a sense of belonging. While rational branding focuses on the qualities of the product, emotional branding focuses on and interacts with its customers, their hopes, their identity, their beliefs, and lifestyle. When your ideal audience develops that emotional connect to your brand, They don't really care what they're paying for your product. They don't really care what your competition offers them. They will defend your brand and own their choice of your brand quite passionately. They will become breathing, moving, talking adverts for your brand in the real world and online. Think your online reviews that talk up your brand, sharing social media posts that reflect well on your brand. Emotion is energy in motion. Catalyze that emotion in your branding. A brand may start out as a product that solves a problem, but over time, that same brand can become identified with a certain idea, an experience, a feeling, and then it becomes something that fulfills an emotional need. Think about how Apple started and about what a long way they have come from a modest company selling kit computers to selling some of the most desired and sophisticated gadgets in the world today. Steve Jobs once said, "The chance to make a memory is the essence of brand marketing." Boom, mic drop. He clearly followed his own advice. Today, the i ecosystem, right, the i products, is easily one of the most enviable brands in the world with almost fanatical brand loyalty, completely irrational, that refuses to even see reason. For the Apple loyalist, no matter how much faster, bigger, cheaper, advanced, or feature-rich a phone is, it will never do because it is not an iPhone. There is that beautiful styling, that strongly held, almost unshakable perception of Apple offering the best quality products. It's like Maya Angelou, one of my favorite writers, said, wait a minute, I got to tell you the story about creating loyalty. Okay, I am 19, second year of college, 70%. I know exactly what I want out of life, and I'm going to get it. That's how I feel. 30%, I have no idea what the heck is even happening. I'm an international business and world trade business major in college. I'm on the dean's list. I'm loved by my department. I have it dialed in. My mentors are telling me all I have to do is keep on climbing the mountain because I have what it takes. But it was hard work. It wasn't passionate work. Passionate work can be hard, but it doesn't feel hard. You know, passionate work feels like home. One day, I crack open this Maya Angelou book. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It's for an elective I had to take. I had to choose something, and I chose this. I skipped all my classes that day. I was glued. My cheerleading skirt might as well have been stapled to the reading chair in the library. I kept looking up for my book, like, to wanting to say to people, like, do you understand what I'm reading? This, I wanted to tell them, stop whatever you're doing. This is where it's at. This is the most beautifully written, poignant, most important piece of literature, most important thing any human could have created in the world. 3 days later, I became a double major, international business and world trade and poetry. Sounds pretty irrational. My univariate statistics professor certainly thought so, but I loved everything about it. I quickly became a published poet, then a publisher, and I published poetry magazines, and then I rose to the features editor of the newspaper and did an internship running a children's poetry product, went on to win a National Endowment for the Arts grant in Poetry for America. I started to teach high school gang kids poetry with my grant, all within 2 years. And then became a namer, which is exactly where poetry meets international business and world trade. What? Maya Angelou then became the poet laureate for Bill Clinton, who started AmeriCorps. And I went to see her speak at his inaugural speech. I went for her, not for him. Sorry, Bill. I mean, wow, thinking about it now, I caught a lifelong case of brand loyalty to creating art and commerce that all started with a very irrational leap into a new identity. Thank you, Maya Angelou, for being that emotional branding for art and commerce. Like many of us, I owe it all to you. So here's the quote I was going to tell you before my brain went bing. Maya Angelou says, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That feeling I had is the exact feeling you want to inspire in your ideal individuals, your tribe. People aren't walking around the earth looking merely for a phone with more memory. They're walking around the earth in their daily routines looking for someone who sees them, who sees the world as they do, who can articulate that worldview in their branding, who role model it in everything they do as a brand, who has a community of people like them who get it, who feel it, and never want that feeling to end. And that's what those people are doing, waiting online for the next iPhone. They're enjoying the irrationality of their brand loyalty. They don't care to rationalize it. It just is. There's a comfort, a knowingness, even an identity, a surety in brand loyalty. And that's what we're all looking for: comfort, knowingness, identity surety. Our deepest question is, who am I? Why am I here? And I always say, no matter what business you're in, brand loyalty is your business plan. Are your customers or clients with you for 1 transaction, 2 transactions, 8 transactions, or 8 years and counting? Find out how you can go from rational buying decision to the irrational power of brand love by making one fundamental shift. And you're going to love this. You're already a pro at this because you buy something from irrational brand love every day. You have experienced the exact feeling you're about to learn how to put into the hearts of your customers. You buy that feeling everywhere you go, and now you'll be able to provide that feeling to your customers everywhere they go. Sound good? As brands become loved by more and more people, they become an idea, a very detailed picture of a greater future in the hearts of their buyers, that their emotional needs are being met. Take another example of this irrational love from a brand which stands for success. Yeti, a cooler manufacturer that transformed itself into a full-on lifestyle brand. Yes, the Yeti cooler was better than its competitors. It kept ice for longer, and it was supposed to be grizzly proof. But how did Yeti succeed in making people pay so much more, as much as 10 times more, for a product that was only a bit better? And the fact that it was grizzly proof ought not to have mattered to a large majority of its consumer base, because they weren't within 1,000 miles of a grizzly. But its customers still bragged about their cooler being grizzly proof. The soft cooler, the tumbler drinkware, and their Colster thermos from Yeti also became amazingly popular. The brand's built for the wild story is what resonated with so many of their customers. What does this mean? Their ideal individuals also felt they were built for the wild. This tells the story they tell themselves on their weakest days to encourage themselves to go on. When the chips are down, they say to themselves, "You got this. You've been through worse storms. You know how to dig yourself out of a tough situation. You're tougher than this challenge. You're tougher than a grizzly," right? When they win, they say, "Booyah, I am stronger than the storm. You can't stop a wild man, or you can't stop a wild woman. I'm indomitable." Yeti articulated that story in all of its products. And that's the reason so many want to be identified with the Yeti brand, the brand that projected itself as tough and resilient and uncompromising, the one stronger than a grizzly. Are you asking yourself, what story is my ideal individual telling herself or himself when she's up or when he's down? Are you asking yourself, what emotion are they buying from me? Are you asking yourself, do all of my products and services express that story? Because that is the story they never want to end. That is the story that takes a one-hit wonder into a beloved brand for decades. Strive to make people feel happier and better, because it's the only way they're going to remember you. You want to speak to the heart, to inspire in a way that a brand like SoulCycle does. Now, what makes this chain of fitness studios as successful as they are? They successfully inspired people to get healthier, get fitter, in like a joyous, community-based atmosphere. The brand used what some call empowerment marketing, making people feel as though they had the power to alter their own future by taking charge of their own health and fitness. The brand positioned itself at the top of its market. Its users were never in any doubt about this being a premium brand. However, the brand also worked at being inspiring. Their Find It campaign gathered together their most popular instructors to create an inspiring video that invited people to find your soul. And these instructors have a certain celebrity status themselves. They're influencers with big social media followings, loyal students, and are leaders of online communities. The brand also helped tell personal stories about individual riders, stories about singular achievements, setbacks followed by determination to succeed. These are inspiring and motivational stories that help people feel as though they belong with the brand. It's easy to see why people who join SoulCycle brand feel a sense of pride and satisfaction about being a part of this kind of brand. This group of people are brand loyalists. If the brand understands its ideal audience at a fundamental level, then it's a brand that they can have a relationship with. A brand story is the most crucial bonding experience a brand can create. And in today's world of information overload, where we're all bombarded with hundreds of messages and stories every day, you want a brand to be able to articulate that story in the name, tagline, and logo, and in every touch point they have with your brand. Like a grizzly-proof cooler for camping, or a birthday candle from SoulCycle brought out at the end of the class for the whole class to sing happy birthday to you, a key member of their SoulCycle pack. When you connect directly with your customers, you have a relationship with them. When you identify the story they are living into, you identify the greater future they are buying from you. Expressing this is not as difficult as you might think. This is a brand message you can send out quite easily using name, tagline, and logo. Website, blog, social media, products and services, campaign, and most of all, your values and ethics. It can be everywhere. Identify that emotion that resonates with your brand and build your brand story around this emotion. Employ your social media campaigns to inspire that fundamental emotion in your ideal individuals. Connect with them. Don't just go on and on about your product's features. Highlight what it feels like to be a part of the brand. Use your blog to reinforce that feeling. Share that information that cements the relationship, the emotion, the irrational desire for this story to never end. Keep the same emotion alive in your website when they visit your website or your physical store. Provide them a place to feel that emotion that they came to you to feel. When you think about every person, place, or thing you have ever loved, you know it starts with a feeling, and it lasts as long as that feeling stays true. Make them fall in love with your brand, and then watch it all become intuitive, emotional, irrational. Your brand has successfully transitioned from transactional to irrational to emotional and irrational. Your brand story, when told to boost them up, not to boost you up, is where brand loyalty can begin and can live on for generations. I hope this was helpful in creating your brand story to articulate the story they tell themselves when they are down, as their rebel yell to resurrection, the story they tell themselves when they are almost to the victory line to keep going, the story they tell themselves when they win as proof that they know who they are, they're grizzly proof. Like the Yeti, they're a warrior, athlete, champion, like SoulCycle. Because articulating that story is how you come out of nowhere and become an inspiration to millions. Have fun with it. And as always, love what you do and love how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.